Hey there guys, Fave here, and today we're going to be talking about a very interesting story. But before I can talk about any interesting story of any kind, we have to do today's challenge. So today's challenge is, if you don't want to get scammed, then smash that like button. But with that being said, let's jump right into the story. So the first thing I have to explain is a user named darkudog. Now, darkudog is an absolute legend. Now, unfortunately, he's banned forever, but back in 2010 and 2011, he was one of the richest people on Roblox, if not the richest person on Roblox. If you look at his description, he's flexing all these items he used to own, and it's beautiful, man. I mean, rest in peace to Spider-Man, and what a pretty loaded friends list. You got Stickmaster Luke on there. Yeah, darkudog was the man, and shout out to him for being very helpful with a lot of videos, including this one. So anyway, we have to rewind all the way back to 2010. Now, 2010 was the year that I created Fave with 1A, made the channel Roblox Fave. It was a pretty important year for me, I guess. But it was also a very interesting year to be a Roblox trader. So here's the thing. The trading system on Roblox came out in 2012, but limiteds have existed since 2009. So for 3 years, how do you trade items to get limiteds you want? Well, it was not fun. I'll put it like that, alright? You had to sell the item for 1 Robux to each other so you guys could get each other's items. Now, of course, there's many things that can go wrong there. So first of all, someone can just snipe your item for 1 Robux. They didn't have bots back then, you didn't have to worry about that. But let's say someone like Merely is setting up your trade and then he snipes your item and then gets rich off of you, but that's a whole different story. Let's focus on darkudog. So, the main thing that could go wrong when trading back then is obviously scammers. Because if you have to sell your item for 1 Robux, that means someone has to sell their item first so the next person can sell their item. And let's say you sell your expensive limited for 1 Robux and the other person just, oh no, they removed you off their friends list and they log off and they stop replying to your messages. Oh well, guess you got scammed and there's nothing you can do about it because, oh, I just got this item for 1 Robux. What do you mean I scammed? So trading was actually not allowed back then. There was forum posts about it by moderators and stuff like that. Either way, that didn't stop people from trading. People were going to trade regardless if it was allowed or not, because people wanted items and people wanted to get them. Not everyone had so much Robux at their disposal to just buy huge limited, so trading is the option, and they took too long to release the stupid update. Either way, someone has to go first in these deals. Now sometimes trading can go right. So Mr. darkudog did a trade with Mr. BloxKing6960. I'm going to give one good guy badge of honor in this video to Mr. Rice Northco, which is his new username for BloxKing6960. And basically, darkudog traded a Dominus Infernus for BloxKing6960's Wanwood Crown. Nowadays, that kind of seems like a crazy trade considering Dominus Infernus is worth like 7 million Robux, while the Wanwood Crown is worth a lot less than 7 million Robux. But back in the day, this was actually a fair trade. Okay, these were both very expensive limiteds, and of course the Wanwood Crown is not an item that a lot of people wanted, but darkudog was thinking, man, it's so rare, I could probably convince someone to take incredible overpay for this. But anyway, BloxKing6960 is a legitimate trader. He traded his Wanwood Crown. He got darkudog's Dominus Infernus. He's legit. So, good job, Mr. Wolf Man who likes classic rock. Okay? So, I'm glad you're legit, bro. Anyway, trading doesn't always go right back in 2010. So, darkudog is stuck with this Wanwood Crown that nobody really wants. I mean, to this day, it says there's only 3 copies of this item that exist. So, yeah, Wanwood Crown is pretty rare. I'm not going to put it lightly here. But you know what? He knew how to trade. He was very good at it, so he would figure out a way to get rid of it, right? So anyway, he can't just get newer items with just the Wanwood Crown. He had to add, okay? So he goes ahead and eventually builds up to get a Crimson Cat's Eye. Now back in the day, Crimson Cat's Eye was a very expensive item. Like if we take the graph back to 2012, you can see it selling for over 100,000 Robux. So it was worth even more before 2012, but that's as far back as my historical data can show. So yes, the Crimson Cat's Eye was a very wanted item by people, and he managed to get his hands on one. So someone offers him an Illumina for the Crimson Cat's Eye, which was one of the most expensive limiteds on Roblox back in 2010. Okay, so of course he has to take this offer, so he makes him go first. And the guy offering him the Illumina was a scammer, so he was like, alright, he probably is overpaying for my Crimson Cat's Eye because he scammed the Illumina anyway. But sillily enough, darkudog makes a mistake and goes first, and he gets scammed. And to quote darkudog himself, never trust a scammer. Okay? So, you see this Illumina here, you see the Crimson Cat's Eye, he loses it. So rest in peace to darkudog's Crimson Cat's Eye, and he gets scammed. So, you know, you get scammed, it's pretty frustrating. But, it's all good. So, then, I did a video one time about Dark Heart number 1. Now, I've explained serials many times, and basically it goes, if you have, like, number 1 of an item, you have the first copy of it ever purchased. This applies to limited use, so if there's 100 of an item and you're the 34th person to buy it, you'll get number 34, etc. So his dream item was Dark Heart number 1, the first Dark Heart ever purchased. And if you don't know what a Dark Heart is, this is a Dark Heart, the most overpowered sword in sword fights on the heights, and was a very expensive limited at many points in history. So he kept getting richer and richer so he could finally afford number 1 Dark Heart. He had a friend that owned number 1 Dark Heart, and he was just trying to get enough limiteds to make a really good offer to him. But unfortunately, his friend wasn't the brightest person either in terms of falling for scams. So his username at the time was MadAttack88, and unfortunately, that's a beautiful Dusakar in his head, but unfortunately, he is a scammer. So darkudog's friend gets scammed out of one of the most expensive, most desired items on Roblox. Now this would frustrate anyone. Like if your friend gets scammed, you feel bad for them. You wish you could do something about it. I mean, one of my old YouTuber friends got scammed out of 2 million value the other day, and I tried my best to help her out as much as I could. But you know, there's only so much you can do, right? Darkudog decided to take it to the next level. Let's introduce the main part of this story. RisBG. Now who is RisBG? How do they have an epic face? What is this outfit? The description says, I'm darkudog's bad account. I don't use this account much, except when I'm banned. Now, nowadays, RisBG is banned forever and only owns a sword pack. So, I don't know what's going on here, but basically, RisBG was an account made by darkudog to take revenge on scammers. What does RisBG mean? Well, it stands for Revenge is Sick, but Good, which is a pretty cool legendary name. I mean, revenge is sick, but good. Alright, so first of all, this kid was offering him free Outrageous Builders Club, which back in the day it's like premium, but the tier where you get the most Robux, if I were to liken it to modern day terms. And so he offers him that for his password. He had Builders Club at the time, and he knew he was trying to scam him because he just wanted his password to take expensive limited. So a kid asking for his password so he could give him OBC, that's a classic way to scam someone. So he's like, I'm not going to let you scam me. So he uses RisBG to claim his first victim, which is a scammer, and he takes his Rozzy. Now Rozzy nowadays, the Red Crown of Ozymandias, is not an expensive limited, but back then it was wanted by a lot of people. So, you know, cool enough, he scams a scammer, but he had to go bigger, he had to go harder. So remember MadAttack88 and his number 1 Dark Heart? He scammed. Well, you know what? Revenge is sick, but good. And so what does he do here? Well, first of all, after he scams the Rozzy from the scammer, he still owns the Wanwood Crown because he just got scammed out of his Crimson Cat's Eye. And so he finally is able to trade his Wanwood Crown plus his Rozzy plus a few thousand Robux for the Dominus Imperius, the most expensive limited on Roblox, okay? So, you know, that's pretty nice. I mean, being able to have the most expensive limited on Roblox is nice, puts him closer to his number 1 Dark Heart. And, you know, I'll give one more good guy badge of honor to Mr. Giraffe here. I mean, he's a pretty rich dude, also known as I Love Club Penguin. He's a legend. And yeah, he was legitimate in his trade, gave him Dominus Imperius for Wanwood Crown plus Rozzy. But hey, so MadAttack88, who scammed the Dark Heart number 1, darkudog negotiates a deal with him. He says that he, darkudog, will give his Dominus Imperius for his number 1 Dark Heart. This is a humongous overpay, and Mr. MadAttack88 can't say no to this offer. So, Mr. darkudog asks RiskBG, convinces Metatek to go first, considering that Dominus Imperius was a much bigger item. He convinced a scammer to go first. So it's the golden opportunity. He scams the scammer who scammed his friend, and then Mr. Metatek 88 no longer has a number 1 dark heart. darkudog is much richer, transfer the items from RiskBG to darkudog in the middle of the night, and all is great. So of course, darkudog is an absolute legend for this. I mean, to get revenge on all those people scamming you and your friends by scamming them, it's just beautiful. I love to see it, okay? And he ends up being one of the richest people on Roblox back then, and then, some years later, he retires, he gets banned forever. I mean, he just went yeet, and, some Robin Hood type stuff. So, I don't encourage scamming or like it at all, but if there is any appropriate reason to scam, I think getting revenge on a scammer by scamming them is pretty good, because they didn't earn those items legitimately anyway, so you might as well, do what you gotta do. So, let me know what you think down below about this whole story. Make sure you smash that like button, follow me on Twitter at Roblox Fave, subscribe and hit the bell to Fave and Fave 2. Follow me on Twitter at Roblox Fave, join my Discord server, discord.gg/Fave, join my fan club on Roblox, and it's your boy Fave, and I am out.